What's up, you guys? My name is Eli and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first ever video, so thank you guys for tuning in and I hope you learned something very special from it. Alright, so let's jump into it. So in this tutorial we're going to build a family to-do application and we're going to use Python with Flask, PostgreSQL, SQL-Alchemy, JWT, and this right here is our database connector. So it just allows us to connect with our Postgres database. JWT, this is a JSON web token. We will use it for making a token, and we're going to send this token with every request for authentication purposes. SQL-Alchemy, it basically allows us to communicate with Postgres easier and quicker. And it allows like some syntax sugar for creating like our models and things of that nature. So it's pretty nice and pretty useful. And Postgres, this is our database and it's going to hold all our data for this application. Alright, so the features of this application is to perform CRUD operations on object types, and the object types that we're going to perform operations on are are family, member, and to-do item. So family, it has an ID, family has a name, a list of members, and a list of to-dos. Member, it has an ID, first name, last name, email, password, age, and also a list of to-dos. And to-do item has a ID, description, urgency, and a status that tell you whether it's completed or not. Okay, so this is basically just my 15-minute brainstorm. Just wrote it on a sticky note. Okay, now this right here is my flowchart. I like the flowchart. It helps me to see my ideas in a visual. I'm a visual person, so the flowchart actually helps me out a lot. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about it, explain it a little bit. So this right here is the beginning of our application. Everything starts with a request. So Postman is our client, and it will send a HTTP request. It will send a request to the application, and the application will return a response back to the user or the client. Okay, so basically the client will send a request, and based off the URL that the request is sent to, it will go to one of these 4 blueprints, and inside these 4 blueprints are routes, and there are routes designed to handle requests from the client. So once the request is handled, it will send back a response, like I said, to the client, and that's pretty much it. That's how API works. It's really that simple. Okay, our database, Postgres. So Postgres will hold all our data, like all our members, all the families, and all the to-dos. So Postgres is our database of choice. Alright, so in the next video, well, the next part, we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin setting up our application. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. So stick with me, you guys. It should be fun. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing we want to do when setting up our application, we want to open up a command prompt, and inside this command prompt, we're just going to create a folder to hold our application. So I'm just getting to the directory where I want to create the folder. So in here, let's say make directory, and let's give it a good name, family _ to do API. Okay, make directory. Now let's check to see if our directory was made. Yeah, directory right here. So what we want to do now is open up this directory or folder in VS Code. So all we have to do is say code and then put the name of the folder. And There we go. VS Code has opened up an instance for us. Alright, so before we do anything, what we first need to do is create a virtual environment. And the reason being is that with Python applications or applications period, you might have a project that might use this version of Python or this version of Flask or whatever. So if you create a virtual environment, that all those dependencies will go inside that virtual environment folder, and you could run it with that instance of this application. So say you create a new application and it requires like a different version of Python, you create another virtual environment and have those dependencies inside that virtual environment. So now every project has its own dependencies, and it will be in the correct versions and X, Y, and Z. So that's why it's important to create a virtual environment. I hope that made sense. So in order to create a virtual environment, the first thing we need to do is we need to say pi and say -m. Now you want to say virtual environment, right? And now right here is where you name your virtual environment. So I'm gonna just give it a simple name. Let's say .venv. Press enter, and our virtual environment folder is getting made right now. So let's wait till that finish up. Alright, now that that's done, before you're able to use your virtual environment and add dependencies inside of it, you need to activate it first. So in order to activate it, you will say your virtual environment name, right? Now we need to say /strips, and next you just need to type in activate. Alright, just like that. So all you gotta do is hit enter. Alright, and that should have activated our environment. So let's create a file. Let's create an app file, app.py. Alright, now that we have our file, well, we need to add our dependencies. I skipped a step. We need to add our dependencies. So let's do that. Let's add our dependencies. Alright, so wait. Okay, I'm gonna kill this terminal and start a new terminal. Alright. Okay, I think our environment was just trying to make changes. So, okay, there it goes, virtual environment, as you can see. So, what we're going to say, well, the dependencies we need to install is, first to install the dependencies, you need to say pip install. Alright. So the first dependency that we need to get out the way is Flask. So to install Flask, all you have to do is say pip install and then Flask. Next, we need Flask SQL-Alchemy. Next, we need PYJWT. This stands for Python JSON Web Token. Okay. We also need our database string or database connector. So it's PSYCOP cheap. And we want to say 2 and binary. Alright. Okay. And one more dependency. This dependency, we're going to use it to get variables from our .env file. I don't have it in here right now, but it's basically going to be our environment file on my computer, and it's going to hold simple environments, just things that I really don't, well, that you're not supposed to share on GitHub, and when you're coding, it's just your private private variables. So what we're going to install for me to be able to use the .env in the application is python -env. Okay, so we have Flask, we have SQL-Alchemy, JSON Web Token, we have our database connector database connector library, and we have py.env. Okay, so the reason, a little bit about this, the reason why we're using binary and not just this right here, well, okay, let's see, there we go. The reason why we're not just using this package and we added binary is because we're just using it for development purposes. So it's just really just a standalone library. But if you're going to be pushing your project to production and it's going to be used in real world, it's best to just download the PostgreSQL without the binary extension on the end, because it will come with the compiler and other external libraries that the application actually needs. So, alright, so let's go ahead and install. Alright, cool. All our dependencies are installed. You can see SQL-Alchemy right here. You can see our database connector right here. Alright, so pretty sure everything else is in here too. Yep. JWT. Everything's here. So what we're going to do next is build our file structure. So the first file we're going to build is, well, I shouldn't say build. The next file we're going to add to our structure, let's say that, is a config file. So this is where all our configuration would be. So py.py config.py. Make sure you add the py extension so that your IDE knows that it's a Python file and it will treat it as such. Okay. Next, we need to create a folder. In this folder, we're going to call it project. Right. And inside of project, what we're going to have is, well, what we need, of course, is we need a init file. And this file, this file is where we're going to create our create app function. So this Flask API will be built off the factory pattern. So if you guys don't know what the factory pattern is, you will see it briefly. Just stay with me and you'll see it. Alright. So the next file we need to add is our authent file. This is the file that's going to do our authentication. Well, what we're going to build our authentication in. Alright. Next we need a models file. And this is where our classes will be, our family, our member, and to-do item class. We will build them inside models. Alright, so we have our basic file. Well, nope, we forgot our blueprints. So inside project, create a new folder. And this folder is going to be called blueprints. Alright, blueprints. And inside blueprint, I need to create 4 more additional blueprints. Well, 4 more additional folders. Each folder, each blueprint will have its own folder. So this is basically just so we could keep our code nice and clean and organized. So let this one be admin blueprint. Admin blueprint. Okay. Next, we need a member blueprint folder. Alright. Wait, did it go inside of? Okay. New folder. I see what it did. We gotta fix that. Let's say family blueprint. Okay. So right here, we need to fix this. Let's just delete it. Yes. Alright, start again, start fresh. New file, let's say admin, blueprint. Alright. Remember, wait, almost got me again. There we go. Member, blueprint. And last but not least, to-dos, blueprint. Alright, so inside each blueprint folder, we need two files. And the first file we need is a init file. This is how we're going to init our blueprint. Alright, so init, and we also need a route file. So the route file is going to be the file where our routes will be. So the init is the one that basically communicates with the app and say, hey, a blueprint is over here, like I'm right here, but the data will be held inside the route. So the init is really like the, hey, look at me, don't forget about me when when we create the application, when it's getting built. Flask will see that it's a blueprint, it has a init, so it will get treated as a sub package, as it should be, and it will allow us to access these route points. So, all right, let's finish building. So, yeah, admin route. Okay. So we need to do the same thing for family, member, and to do. So let's do that real quick. So just say init. Oh, sorry, almost init.py. And we also need to say family underscore route .py. So family is done, admin is done. Next we have member. So new file underscore init underscore .py. Alright. Now we need to say member underscore route .py. Alright, so that's it for member. Now we have to do. So inside to do, same thing. Underscore init underscore .py. And last but not least, to do's route .py. So just make sure all your files have the py extension, because you really want to make sure they get treated as a Python file. It's been times where I forgot the py and I couldn't figure out why my application wasn't running. It's because it didn't treat it like a Python file. It wasn't a Python file. So make sure you add the py. But yeah, this right here is basically our well, not basically, it literally is our file structure. So let's look at it, let's view it a little bit more in detail. So close this real fast. So inside our family to do API, we have an app file and a config file that's outside of our project file. And when you open up the project file, we have our blueprints. As you can see, every blueprint has a init file and a route file. So yeah. And also inside a blueprint, we also have an additional init file. We have a thint file and a models file. So yeah, this is my layout. So in the next part, we're going to go ahead and build the config file. So stick with me. Okay, so go into our config file, close this, give us more room to work, more room for you to see. So the config file, like I said, it's going to be the file. We're going to use this file to configure our application. So let's go ahead and build it. First, we want to import OS, which stands for operating system. Alright. Next, you want to say, well, you remember the dependency that I said I need, the one that's going to talk to my environment file for me? Yeah, so we're going to install, well, not install, we're going to call that dependency into our config file. So load.env. Alright, so that's the only two dependencies we need. Alright, so first we need to be able to load, well, first we need to load our variables, our environment variables into the config file, well, to have access to them into our config file. So what we need to do is real simple, just say load.env, and that's it. So now I'll be able to use my environment variables for my .env file. I'll be able to use them in my config file now. So alright, so moving on. Next we need a base directory, and this base directory will just be a direct absolute path to this project. So in order to do that, say os.path. Alright, and we're going to say absolute path, and we want to pass os.path directory name, and the directory name is really just file name. So we want to use the file name. Alright. Now that that's done, the first thing we need to do is create our base config file, and then after that we're going to create three more how would you say it? 3 more subclasses or child classes of this base class. So first thing we're going to do is a class, and then give it a name, config. Alright, so we want to pass an object to it. Alright, so next all we got to do is say Flask environment. We want to set the Flask environment. So what we'll set the Flask environment to is just let's just do development, because most of the time you will be working in development. So let's just development by default. This is a good default variable, development. So next we have debug, and we'll set that to false. Okay, testing, same as before, false. Well, yep, false. Next we will set a secret key, secret underscore key. Okay, and this secret key will equal os.environment.get, and what we want to get is secret key, and by default we're going to just say no, by default just get the environment key. So alright, so right here is, this is how you able to get a variable from your .env file. So the load.env allows me to just call it like this, to use this command in order to get my variable. So it will make more sense the more we go into it. I just felt like it was a good time to speak on it. So the next property we're going to define is our SQL database URI. Sorry. So let's say let's call it SQL-Alchemy. SQL-Alchemy. And we want to say database URI. And what we want to set this to is os.environment.get, and I believe I have it under database URI. Okay, so just like that. So basically what is happening is this will be the database URI that our SQL-Alchemy uses to connect with our Postgres database. So yeah, this is the URI, SQL database URI. Alright, so the next, what we're gonna do next is we're gonna build a couple sub packages, or if you like to use the word child package. So sub package, child pack class. Sorry, I said package, I meant class. So we're about to build a subclass, or you can say a child class, same thing, but we're about to build a subclass right now. And basically what this subclass is going to do is it's going to have pretty much the same properties as the parent class or the base class, but it's going to change them. Change like a variable or not change it. You're going to see. We're about to build it out right now. So it just gives us more flexibility. Alright, so the first class we want to build, let's call it production config. Alright, and what we want to pass inside is config. So next, only thing we're going to change, the only difference there's going to be between the base and the production is this right here. We're going to change Flask environment from development to production. Just like that, and we're done. See? So the next one we're going to build is development. So class and say development config. Alright, pass config. And what we're going to change in this is we're going to say debug is set to true. Right. Next thing is testing. Last but not least, testing. Best for last. Testing config. Alright. So same thing, pass config. And let's just give it a little room. It looks too crowded, so yeah, it looks way better. Alright, so inside here we're going to say testing is set to, you guessed it, true. And also what we want to do is we're going to change our SQL database. So we're not going to use our we're not going to use this database URL. We have one for testing. So what we're going to do is say right here, OS environment dot get, and what we want to get is test underscore database underscore URI. Alright, so that's what we want to get, and that's what we're going to use. Alright, seems like that's it for us. So yeah, this is our config file, and I hope I explained it in a clear and concise way. I really do. But in the next video or next section, we're going to go ahead and build out our models file. So alright, thank you for sticking with me, and let's see what we're going to do now. Okay, now that we have our config file built, we will go ahead and finish building our model file. Okay, so in the model file, what we're going to build is our family member into new class. So first, what we need to do is add our imports. So from Flask SQL-Alchemy, import SQL-Alchemy. And we need to create a DB, well, an instance of SQL-Alchemy. So we do that by doing that. So next we're going to start by developing our family class. And so the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to code it out, and then I'm going to go back over it and explain exactly what it's doing. So, but I'm going to talk it out while I code it. So we're going to say table, well, underscore underscore table name equals, well, assign to family, assign it family, ID, well, DP column, DB, and primary key, oh, sorry, key, and let's say true. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this, paste up. So I believe we need 4 fields, so I have one too many. Alright, so this would be family name, and it would be string 150. Nullable will be set to false. Okay, next this will be our members. So instead of column we will say relationship. The reason being is because it's a many-to-one relationship, saying it's many members to one family. So it's represented a little different when you're creating your model. And we have to specify our lazy. So we will say lazy loading is true. Now this one would be our to-dos, and same thing, relationship. To-do item, paragraph is set to family, and lazy is true. It's also true. So we're almost done. Let's build a, okay, let's make a function to print out print out our values in a like a key value type of format. So let's say def serialize, say self return ID family name members and to-dos. So let's just go ahead and add the value. So self.id comma, self dot family name, comma, self dot members, column, comma, self dot to dos. Yeah. So this is our family class, and basically we have our ID, and this is a column. Everything is a column. So it's ID column, and it's an integer. That's the value type integer, data type integer, and it's a primary key. So it's set to true. So it's only one of them, and it cannot be duplicated. Next, we have our family name. It's a column. It's a string, and it takes 150 characters. That's the max capacity, and it's set to nullable. It's false because we need a family name in order to have a family, and the members. So I explained the relationship already. So it's just, this is the name of the the class that we're going to create, and this is the reference back to the family class, and you understand the lazy loading. So we're just gonna go ahead. Oh yeah, and we explain this a little bit too. So here it is. So we're just gonna go ahead and copy this, and we're gonna paste it. Okay, and we're gonna change some things around and just say member okay, need to change that, something like that. Alright, so keep the idea the same. Instead of family name, we could say first name. Copy that, and this would be last name. And we need a new field, and we're just gonna paste, but we're gonna call this password, and we're going to set the password to 250 because we're going to hash the password. So hashing might make it longer. Well, we'll make it longer, so we're going to set it to 250 so we can cover it. Okay, so another field. This one will be email, and we'll also set email to 250. Emails can be pretty long. We will add this one a unique character. Give it the property of unique character. Unique. So it's you only can have one email. Like no one else can have your email. So pretty much, if this email already exists, you can't create a user. And age. So age will be not a string but an integer. So instead of members, we need to-dos. I should have just deleted this one and kept the last one, but we're here now, so make this a member. And instead of this, since now we're on the other end of the many-to-one relationship from the family, the member class will have a family ID, and this will link it to a family. So we'll say column, and then we say db.integer database.foreign key, and the foreign key would be the family key. The family ID, sorry. Nullable is set to true because a member does not have to be part of a family. So yeah, and let's fix this so this could stay, but let's copy this, paste. Okay, so instead of that, say last name, first name, to-dos. Well, we already got to-do, so let's just not call this to-dos. Let's just do this. Okay. Well, we don't really need the to-dos. We can say first name, last name, and what would be a useful one? Email. Okay, so yeah, that does serialize function for our member. And a little bit more about this foreign key. So the foreign key is from the family that the member belongs to, and this is how it links. It links by ID. So okay, so let's just copy this one, and the last one will be to-do item. So let's say to-do item, same thing here, to-do item, ID is fine. So we only need 6 fields, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these two can get deleted. Instead of first name, we will say the description, and let's, instead of giving a text, a string, let's call it a text, because the description can be pretty lengthy. So text, nullable is false, and we need a field named urgency. So urgency, we keep it the same. We don't need a password, but we do need completed. Alright, so completed, we need it as a boolean. So boolean, and since we're on the same end, like just like the member, the many side of the one-to-many relationship, we need the ID. So we will say member ID, and let's just go ahead and do this one, family ID. Okay, so both of them will be integers. Change this to integer. And they both need foreign keys. So let's say db.foreign key. And the foreign key would be member dot ID. It's true. db.foreign key, and this will be family ID. Set this to true. Okay, so that is our to-do item class, and we just need to fix the serialize function. So leave ID the same, change this to description, description. Urgency. Urgency. Completed. Completed. Okay, so yeah. So every to-do has a description. Every to-do has an urgency, which is like how important it is, and it has a status of complete is true or false. So, but when creating it, it's in a neutral state, so we ain't gonna say nothing yet. Member. So every to-do item can have a member, or it can have a family. So yeah, this is our models class. So the next step, we are going to create our admin route, and that's where we're going to do our login and sign up. So thank you for watching. So let's go into our init file on under our admin folder. So inside this file, what we're going to do is we're going to create our blueprint, and we're going to use our blueprint inside of our admin route file right here. So first we'll say from Flask import blueprint, and we need the blueprint in order to basically like make HTTP calls to the admin route file. So we need the blueprint in order to make that happen. So we will say admin blueprint, and we need to give it a name. So let's give it a name of admin. Next, we need to give an import name. So let's say name, and we use this variable name because it basically like tells Flask that it's right here. It helps Flask locate it, and you don't know like if it's being created from a module or from a function, the import name would be different. So this right here just like is dynamic. So it's a URL prefix, say admin. Alright, so looks pretty good. Next we'll want to say from dot import admin route. So we're just importing this file into this init file, so when it runs it gets initted. Save. Alright, so inside of our route file, what we're going to do is first we're going to call in all our imports, dependencies. So we need request, make response, and current app, and from project models, we need to import member and DB. There. Oh man. Tough break. Okay, so next we need, I guess you'll say work Zerk security, I guess. But we need to import generate password hash and check password hash from date and time. Need to import date and time delta. From absolute, from relative path, we need to import admin blueprint. Okay, so these are all our dependencies. So request, we need requests in order to get the data from the HTTP call. Make response is how we'll respond. This is how we make our response. Current app, we'll use this later in the application, and I will explain it more in detail. But basically, all it does is give us the properties of our current application running right now at this time when the application is running. So, but we'll get into it more. Okay, so we have member. We need our member because this is how we're going to sign in and create a member. DB, because we need to be able to interact with the database to add and commit, generate password hash and check password hash. This is how we're going to hash our password, and this is how we're going to check our password hash. And datetime, we're going to use these. We're going to use these functions in order to put a timestamp on our token when you log in. And admin blueprint, this is our blueprint, and this is how we're going to create our routes. So let's get started. So the first route we're going to create is going to be the sign up, but we're going to say admin.blueprint.route, and we need to give it a path. So we'll say sign up, and it's going to be a post. Okay, so it's a def sign up, so we'll get the data from the request. So request dot JSON, and what we want is first name, last name, password, email, password, email, H. So it would be data.get, say first name, copy this, paste, last name, password, email, and this would be H. So we're getting the data from the request and we're assigning them to variables, and next we're going to put a conditional statement, and it will basically say if first name and first name and last name and password and email and age. It's a better way of doing this, but just trying to keep it simple and just make a nice little tutorial, but it will do the job. So we'll say if first name, last name, if first name and last name and password and email and age. What we want to do is say if member dot query dot filter filter by, and we want to say email, and we want to pass it email, and we want to get the first one that we see, because it should only be one. So first, we want to say we want to return a response, because if the email is already there, well, if the user is already there, you can't create a user with the same credentials. So we'll just say message member already exists. Alright, so we'll just pass it. This is 400 for bad request. Okay. But you also want to say member. So if the password, if the email does not exist, this is what we want to do. We want to create a member. So we just say first name. So we're creating a member right now. Last name. Password. Now right here is where we're going to generate the password into a hash. So we're going to hash it before saving it into our database. So say password, email, and age. So there you have it. That's our member. And now all we need to do is make a session, and we're going to say add, and what we want to add is the member we just created, and we're going to say db.commit, session.commit. Alright, so we just need to make like a couple more responses. So this one would say make a response, message, and we want to say success, member was created, and let's pass 200 for OK. But we also want to make another response, and this response is for like if the member doesn't get created. Sorry, if the member doesn't get created, we will say message sorry, unable to create number, and return 500 for internal service error. So this is basically how we are going to sign up a member, and next we're going to create login. So we will say admin blueprint route login excuse me. And this would be a post as well. So let's say dev login. So data request, just like we did in signup. So once you really do one request, you pretty much have the groundwork for figuring out how to make other view functions. Oh, sorry. Typo. I'm going to say data that I get. Email. And we want to say password equals data that I get password. Okay. So now that we have our password, we want to have another conditional statement. Say if not data. So if we don't have no data, well, if we don't get a request, or the request does not have an email or not a password, we want to say, well, we want to return a response that says, oh man, too many. Just close the terminal. Didn't mean to open that. Okay, so message, and what we want to say is please provide credentials. Pass off 400 for bad request. So we say member. Yeah. So if it passes this conditional check, what we're going to do is we're going to get the member by ID. Well, we're going to try to find the member by his ID, well, by that member ID. And if we find the member by the ID, then we'll continue. But if we don't, we'll throw another response. So we're going to say .query .filter by email .first. Yeah. And we could say if not member, return make response message member does not exist. And let's return another 4. Let's return 400. So 400. Alright, so next we want to check the password. So check password. So what we want to do is, if the member does exist, well, yeah, member. So we want to get the member password. So we would say member.password. Password. And next we want to say password. So checks it, and right here we want to import JWT, our JSON Web Token. I want to import it close to where we're using it, just so it's just closer. It just looks better to me. Token is JWT.encode. .encode. And this is how we create our token. So our token will be ID, and we need the member.id. Okay. We need expiration. So So this is when the token goes bad, and it would be date time dot now dot as time zone plus time delta, and let's have it be good for 30 minutes. So the token will expire 30 minutes after it's created. That's basically what this this method is doing. Well, chain of methods is doing. Okay. So next, what we have to do is we have to. Now this is where we get our secret key, and also where we set our password hash. Well, the algorithm, should I say? So right here, all we're gonna do is say this is where we need current app. So this doesn't exist right now. We will create it, but we will say current app config, and what we need is the secret key. So it's getting a secret key from the config file, but the secret key is coming from a environment file that I have not yet imported or created. So we will do that later, but that's all this is right here. The reason why we have to do it like this is because we're using the factory method. So since we're using the factory method for our Flask application, we can't just say we can't just call, well, we can't just get a variable from out of our project. We have to get it out of the current running application. So okay, that's it, and we need to make a response. So I'm sorry I didn't explain that well, but that's the best way I could explain it. Make a response, and oops, don't need that. So I want to say message is success. Whoa. Success. You are logged in, and we want to give a status code of 200. Status code of 200, and if all else fails, what we want to return is make response, and what we want to say is message. Please wait, login failed. Please check credentials. And let's return 400 for that request. Okay, so that should do it for our login. Everything looks correct. So our next step will be to go ahead and create our well, okay, we got our admin route. Yes, so the next step will be to basically get our application set up to run. So we're going to create our create app function next, and we're also going to start our Postgres database, create our Postgres database. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so alright, let's say this. And the first thing we're going to do is go into our init file, our project init file. And first thing we're going to import is OS. Next we need to import from Flask. We need to import Flask because this file right here is where we're going to create our function to create our Flask application. So from profile project.models, what we need is the DB. Alright? So okay, so first let's go ahead and let's give it a good name. Let's say create app, and let's say app is Flask, and name. Now this right here is how we're going to get our configurations from our config file. So we're going to say config type, create a variable called config type, and we're going to say os dot environment dot get. And we're going to say config type, or if that variable doesn't exist, we're going to default it to config. Oh wait, sorry. Like this. Config dot development config, and we're going to say app dot config dot from object, and we want to pass in the config type. There we go. So next we want to say initialize extensions, pass in app, and we're going to say register blueprints, and also going to pass in app. And we have to create these two functions, so we'll do that real soon. But for now, let's say return app. Let's fix this. Use a G. So let's define those functions. So let's just easy route. Yeah. So takes app, and what we want to say is db dot init, and this is how we initialize our app with our SQL-Alchemy instance. So that's app. That's it for extensions. Alright, now we need to say register blueprint, pass an app, and same thing. Well, not same thing. So here we're going to say from project dot blueprints, and we need the admin blueprint. We need to import admin blueprint. So we're going to say app.register underscore blueprint and pass an admin. Okay, so this should do us. Let's talk about it. Okay, so basically right here, it's going to get a config variable from our environment file, which I haven't imported or created yet. And once it get the variable, it's going to set the configuration type to that variable, or if that variable doesn't exist or it can't find it, it will just set the config type to configuration development, the class that we created in our config file. So, alright, and right here it says initialize extensions. So what it's doing is initializing our application with the database, like I said, and register blueprints. So register blueprints is taking it, so we're importing the admin blueprint that we created in the admin route folder, and we're basically telling the app like, hey, the blueprint is right here and we want to register it for our application, so it's right here. So we're doing it all in this file, and it's all nice and neat and tidy. And so like if you wanted to change like configurations, you can. It would be pretty easy. You could set this variable in the environment file to a different value, and it will change the configuration. So it's pretty useful, and you can run different instances of this application using different configurations. But the next important step that we need to do is we need to go into our app file. Let's find it. Go into our app file, and so inside the app file, it's really going to be real simple. It's not going to have a whole lot inside of it. So it's just really going to say like create app. It's going to be like where our app is created. So all we need to do is say from project from project, I want to import create app, and what we want to say is, so right here we could just say app equals create app. So this is where our app is, and this is what we're going to run when we run our Flask instance. So just save that, and also save our admin route. Okay. So the next step, we're going to go ahead and create our Postgres database, and from there we're going to test our sign-in and login functionality to see how they work and see what responds. Okay, so in order to create our Postgres database, what we need to do is first log into Postgres. So you will say PSQL, and you use the U to identify the user. And so my username is Postgres. It's by default for when I created my when I downloaded Postgres, I didn't change the name. I just left it as Postgres. And so you hit enter, and now it's going to ask for the password that you created when you created this user. So now I'm inside Postgres, as you can see. So from inside Postgres, what you want to say is create, and you want to say database. Now just give your database a name. So our database would be called we'll name it To-Do Database. Hit create. Okay, so \L, and as you can see, our database is created. So, okay, you remember how I said you needed to add your env file? So I did that during a break, and this is my EV file and my database connection and all my good data like my secret key and my config type are all right inside this file defined, and you do not want to share this file on GitHub or share it with anyone. So yeah, that's that file. So next we need to run a Flask shell instance, and in this instance we're going to create the tables for our database. Flask shell. So we got, okay, so okay. So inside our module class, we have a misplaced variable. Family. Okay, right here, just there. Alright. Misplaced parentheses. So say that. Alright. Now let's try to run our Flask shell. Okay, now that we're inside our Flask shell, what we want to run is db.create_auth. So now if we go to our database, we should say, well, first we gotta connect. So we want to say //connect/c td our database name. As you can see, we're now connected. So to view the tables, /dt, and yep, the tables are here. So it works. It worked. So we could get out of there. So our next step, we'll go ahead and test our routes. So the first route we have is our sign out route, and as you remember, it takes a first name, last name, email, password, and age. And this is the route specified. As you remember, this is the blueprint URL prefix, and this is from the actual view route URL prefix. So, and it's a post. So let's go ahead and, well, first we have to run our Flask application. So we're going to say Flask, specify the app, so app, and we're going to say debug, run it with the debugger. So debug and say run. Alright, so our application is up and running on the port right here. And as you've seen in our Postman, this is the same port. So send. Alright, member was successfully created. So let's check our database. So we can say select all from member. And as you see, here's our member. ID, first name, last name, password. It's right here. Password. Is encrypted. Email H, and it does not have a family. Well, the member does not have a family ID yet, but you can see the current relationship, how it works. So next step is to log in. So now that we're about to log in, all we gotta do is, now to test to see if we can log in, all we gotta do is get our email and our username, our email and our password. So let's make sure that it's actually that. So they match. Now sign in. Well, ran into the error. Let's see. So I had a problem with logging in. Well, what was the error? 404 not found. So am I going to the right place? Login. Yeah. It's the right place. Email, password. Let's see. Okay, I found my silly mistake. I forgot the annotation. So let's save it, rerun it, reload it, try it again. So we signed up already. Now let's log in. And success, you're logged in. So it's missing. Oh, I forgot the token. Oh yeah, silly me. So say token, and we're gonna set it to token. So, yeah. Yeah, I know it's missing something. It didn't look all the way correct. Alright, there we go. So now we have a token. So now the next step of the building process is, since now we have a token, what we're going to do is take this token, and for the other routes that we have, we're going to pass the token in the headers, and we're going to set it as the key will be authorization, and we will set the value to the token that we get from the login. So we're going to create a class called, well, a file called Auth, and inside Auth we will create our declare, and this declare will basically just make sure that you have a token, and that your token is a valid token, and if it is a valid token, you will have access to use the view routes that the token, that the that the wrapper is wrapping. So alright, let's get to it. So we're going to go into our project, go into our Auth file, and we're going to get our dependencies. So from config, curate, config, import config as C, from Flask import make response and also request. And we also need JWT. Alright, so in order to create a declare, first we need to create a function, a outer function, and this will be token check, and we'll pass the function, and this is where our wrapper would be, our wrapper function. So we'll say wraps pass function. So we'll say the declare func pass args and cards token. Right. If request headers let's say and authorization. Okay, I think just okay, I need to talk a little. Alright, so oh sorry, forgot. You need to add wraps from func tools. Okay, so basically this is our wrapper, and in this function it's going to check to see if the token exists in the header, and if the token exists in the header, we will check it against the token that we have, because you know the token is basically just the password, and I mean not the password, it's the ID and the expiration string that we created. So we're just going to check to see if it matches, and if it matches, the user could go ahead and continue with any other interaction in the application. Okay, so let's finish coding it out. So token request header. I'm just gonna say authorization. If not token, we're going to return make response, and what we want to see in this response is message oops token is missing. Return 400 for bad response. So right here, we're going to have a try block, and we're going to say data as JWT dot decode. So we'll take the token, and what we do is we get our secret key, and the algorithm was shell 256. So we say current member query filter by ID. And the ID is data. We just imported member, that's all. So we want to get the first. So now that we got the first, we'll want to just print current member serial. Okay. Try that. And exception. So exception, I want to say JWT dot decode error as error, return make response. Message. Message. Token is invalid. $400. And we would like to return current member, any arguments, and any arguments from the outer function. So we want to return all arguments. So, and the current member that we got from. So basically what's going on is when we get the token, we take the token from out the header, and once we have the token, we decode the token, and when we decode the token, we get the ID. So once we have the ID, we take the ID and we query the members table, and we find that member, and we set that member to current member, and we're printing it, the member right here. But most importantly, we return the current member. So now this current member you'll see is very useful in when we create the further routes for the member and to-dos and the family. But the current member is always available, so all the properties of the current member, like the name, age, whatever, it's all available, and you can just use it in the routes that are declared with the token check. So that's pretty much it, I believe. I think the last thing we have to do is just return the declare function. I hope I explained this in a clear and concise way that made sense. But from here, we're just going to save. Here. Now that's that save. Just gonna browse it again, make sure everything looks up to par. Here. Alright, and it does. So moving on. So the next step, since now we have our Auth route, we can go into our members route, well, members folder, and we're going to do the same process that we did when we did our admin folder. So that's what we're going to do. So just like before, from Flask import blueprint, and we want to name this one member blueprint. So blueprint, we want to get rid of the name of member, well, not member, and set this to name, and say prefix, set that to /member. Alright, same as before, from dot import member out. So save, and let's go into our member route and start building our member route. So let's make this smaller, give us more room to work. Yeah, we just had it, give us more room to work. So first we need from Flask import request and make response, our favorite pair. Project models import member, and what we need the DB from work Zerk security. I know I'm butchering that. I really need to Google how to say that. Import token check. Oh, sorry. Import generation hash, and from project dot Auth import token check. Oh, excuse me, bless me. From dot import member blueprint. Alright, so let's start building our views. So at member blueprint dot route, and this route we're gonna give it the path of absolute, so just a /, it will be a get route. So okay. Oh, so basically in this in this class, well, in this file, we're going to create our views, and it's going to be the same as the admin. It's going to have a get, well, not the same, but it's going to have different methods too. It's going to have get, put, post, and delete. So really, well, it won't have post. We don't need post in this one because we created our member in admin, but it will have get, put, and delete in the member blueprint file. So add our declare, so token check, and we're going to say what we want to name this. Let's say get current member. So basically it's going to return the current member. It's just get member, but we want the current member, so I'm going to say try let's say return make response message. Oops. Member details not found. Let's return 400 for that request. And say accept exception as E. Return make response. Let's say, oops, don't do that. Let's just say message oh okay. Sorry. Oh man. Okay, here we go. I knew something would get a little wrong. It was just didn't dawn on me, and I forgot to add. Yeah, it really didn't dawn on me. It's not. It's 200. We're okay. Okay, so remember the current member we had. We need to pass it as a parameter into our function. So pass in a parameter. Now we get the current member, which is us, and we serialize it and return it back in a response, and that's how we get the current member. But if we, for some reason, can't get the current member, we're gonna return this response. So let's do that. That's the status of 400, and that's to get current member. Next, well, let's just copy this. Copy. Paste. I feel like the best one to go after this one is get member by ID. So let's say get member underscore by ID, and we're going to pass ID and change the route. Need to be able to take a path variable ID, and it's right here, IDs, and it's a get. So we just need to add a little bit of more work. So let's see. We could say right here under the try block, let's say member. There's member.query.filter by, and we want to filter by ID, and we want to pass ID. We want to get the first instance of it. Should only be one. We could say if not member, return make response message member does not exist. return 400 bad requests. So, but if the member does exist, what we want to return is not current member, but just member serialize. Okay. Alright. Exception looks good. So I think the next one we should create is update member. I feel like that'd be a good one to make next. So we're just going to use recycle and just modify. So change that to update. Put this to put. And so inside this one, we need the data from our request. So we can say our favorite request.json. And inside this try block, we want to say member.query.filter by, and what we want to filter by is ID. So the ID is the current member ID because you're only updating yourself, the current member. Update, and what we want to pass the data. Since it's pretty much the data is already in a format as the same format as our member, so we could just pass it right away, just like this. And the response we want to return is not current member, but we want to say member has been updated. Nice and simple. But if for some reason the member can't be updated, we want to say member details instead of not found. Let's say can't be updated. Try again. And 400 bad requests. So let's just look over, make sure it looks right. Everything seems to check out. Well, gotta rename this. It's update member. Update member. And this is get member by ID. Okay. And get current member. So yeah, we're getting, updating, and last but not least, we need to delete. So to delete, we're also going to acquire a path variable of ID and change this to delete. We need ID. And what we want to do is say member is member.query filter by, and what we want to filter by is ID. So we pass the ID. I want to get the first. And we want to say if not member. What we want to say is return, make response, message, member does not exists can't delete. Okay, and just return 400 for bad response for bad request. And what we want to return is member has successfully been deleted. Alright, but before we return it, we want to say db.session.delete member, db.session.commit. So we're deleting the member and we're committing our changes. So let me just scan it, and everything looks up to par. So moving forward, now that we have our finished member route, the next step will be to test it. Okay, I'm just checking, just want to make sure it looks okay. Alright, so let's test it. So, save it. Go to Postman. And let's go to get member. And as you remember, we did log in and sign up one member. Let's see. Yeah. So if we say get member, let's see. Oh, something's not right. Let's go check it out. So we got 4 not found. So I think I forgot to do something. Okay, yeah. In our init file, I forgot to register the members blueprint. Oh, admin member import member blueprint, and do the same right here. Register blueprint member blueprint. Alright, save that. Okay, now that it's registered, let's see what happens. Okay, we got searching error. View function mapping is overriding existing endpoint function member dot get current member. Okay, so let's look at that member route. Okay, let's see. I think it was just like a naming conflict, like that name already exists in our application, so let's run it now. Cool, everything looks fine. Alright, so let's retry it. So, okay, so before we make our request, I have this authorization key, and I set it to an environment variable named token. And the way I did this was inside of login. After we log in and receive the token, well, when we log in, we receive a token. So what I did was inside strips, I had a strip. Well, I could just rewrite it. So basically, the way the strip goes, you just tell Postman that you want to take a value from a request, and when taking the value from the request, you want to set it to an environment variable. So let's get into it right now. So what you want to type is PM for Postman dot environment dot set token, and we want to set the token to Postman dot response. We want to get the response, and it's JSON response, and what we want from the JSON response is token. So just like that, and basically that's how you set a environment variable in Postman. So you just go to the environment, and you'll just hit create environment, and then it'll just come right here, new environment, and you don't have to do anything right here. When that script runs, it's going to automatically generate this variable and the current value of that variable for you to use. So after you generate your variable, you just go to the other request that you have in the folder, and in the header you just put authorization, because that's what the Flask application is expecting, and then you use double curly brackets with the environment variable name, and that's how you dynamically assign this variable, so you don't have to keep copying and pasting. So let's run it to see what we get. Oh, token has expired. Okay, login first. So check our login. Looks good. Okay, login success. That's our token. We check the environment variable. It matches. So you see it works. Okay. Object has no attribute. So I think I probably misnamed something. Oh, okay, right here. Oh, silly. Alright, first name. And last. Save it. Let's just check real fast. Looks good. Looks good. Okay. So let's retry that. Object is not callable. Okay. Let's go check it out. Okay, I see. It's another type. It's a typo on my part. Right here. It's not no parentheses. It's just serialized. Alright. Let's try it again. There we go. We keep going. Eventually we'll get it. But here we go. We got our member. Now let's see something. Let's see how many members we have. Okay, we have one member. Let's create another member. Let's use this. Copy. Okay. So let's say sign up. And let's replace this with this. Cool. Created a new member. Let's make sure. So, yep, there goes our new member with a new password. Yep, all the variables here, email, age, and no family ID though, which is what we expect. So right here, now we are trying to get member by ID. So number 2, I believe, yep, ID is 2. So here we go, and we got the member. Now let's see if we get member by ID 1. Yep, and here you go. Alright, next let's test our update member. Everything's going so well. Okay, so say, what we at? Okay, you misspelled your name. You forgot an R, and you want to change your last name to your favorite NFL team, so let's do that. And you want to change your email and password, and you made a mistake with your age. Let's just say you want to change all your fields. So let's hit it. Number has been updated. Let's check it out. So let's see. Wait, no. Number's the same. What's wrong? Okay. So it works fine. We get okay response, but the values haven't changed. So maybe we're not committing. Let's see. Okay, yeah. See, we made the update, but we just haven't committed the changes. So db.session.commit. Let's try it again. Okay. Alright. As you can see, it works fine. Name has been changed, last name changed. Password. Ooh, nasty bug. Alright, glad I caught it. We got to serialize this before we put it into the database. So yeah, let's fix that. So let's go ahead and fix that problem. So right here, let's say data square brackets password. We want to generate password data.get password. Does that look? Yeah, that looks okay. So what we're going to do is we're taking data we're getting data password. This is the key. Password's the key. So we're getting the key. So we're getting the value by the key. And what we're doing is we're setting a new value. And so the new value will be data.getPassword, which is the password that the user in regular text passes. And we're going to generate it into a password hash and then reassign it back to password before committing it to the database. So, alright, let's see if that's going to work. Save. Try it. Okay. Come right here, select members, and yep, it works. So password is encrypted. So glad we got that fixed. And last but not least, our delete member. So let's make sure we have the correct header. No, so we need to add it. Authorization. Set it to token. Now I believe delete took additional, yeah, so no, that's not it. Okay, where is delete? Oh, this is delete. Yep, gotta change the name. So that was our problem earlier. We had two views named the same thing. So we kept the first one, get current member, but it's in the past now. So let's save. Alright. Okay. So yeah, just pass a variable. Eli, come on. So let's delete the first member. See what happens. Okay. Page not found. What went wrong? Four. Did I return 404? No. Oh, okay, I see. I know the problem. Yeah, right here. So I have delete, but I didn't put delete in our route, so it didn't work. That's why it's 404 can't be found. Yeah. So let's try it again. Alright, member has successfully been deleted. So let's check it out. Yep, and as you can see, the first member is now deleted. So yeah, that's our member route. We deleted, updated, got by ID, just return the current member, which is you. So we went through all the routes, and I hope it was very, very informative, and I hope you learned a good bit. So for the next part, since it's a lot of rinse and repeat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the finished versions of the to-do route and the family route, and I'm going to come back and talk about it, explain it with you guys, and go over in detail on exactly what it's doing. And then we'll go ahead and go back to Postman, and we'll test some more routes. And yeah, so thank you. Let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and, well, I went ahead and did what I said I was going to do. I imported the complete versions of the to-do route and the family route. Well, they're all right here. So first, let's go into the family init file first. Alright, so inside the family blueprint init file is basically the same setup as the admin and the member init file. So create our blueprint, and from .import family route. So pretty much the same, just change fit the family. That's all. So next, let's look into our route. Alright. So inside our folder, what we imported was Flask, and what we wanted was make response and requests. From our models file, what we wanted was member, family, and DB. From project Auth, what we wanted was check, token check. And here goes with the relative path. Import family blueprint, or family BP. So let's look at it. Let's talk about it. So right here, first route is to get family, and it's absolute path, just a forward slash, just a forward slash. And first, what we're going to do is we're going to try to get the family by filtering by current member family ID. So once we have the family, what we do is make a response, and in the response, we're going to return ID, which is the family ID, the family name, which is the family name, and members, which is just the list of family members. Okay. Throws exception if the family does not exist. So simple try and catch. Next, we have create family. Create family is at the path of create, and what we need is a family name. So we get the family name. It's if statement right here. So if the family name if the name does not exist or is not, in the data, say oops, please provide family name. So what we want to do is we want to
set family is equal to family name. So we make a family and we just pass the family name. And we want to add this family to the database, and we want to commit the change. Then we want to say the current member who created the family. We want to set his family ID to that other family ID that we just created and put into the database. So that's how we make a link between family and member. So we'll see it in Postgres when we make these calls. So create family. Alright, so let's see. We also have a commit, because we have to commit the change to the variable, to the family variable, since the member just added a family variable. So we have to commit that change too. So if everything goes right, it gets a response of success, family was created. If it doesn't go right, it get a response of oops, family wasn't created. 400 for the status code, 200 for the status code if it does goes correctly. Next one we have is update family. So update family just takes the data from the request, and with that data, all we're going to do is say if not name. What we want to do is send this message right here. Oops, please enter valid name. Let's change this to 400. Yeah. And let's see. So right here we're querying the family table by ID, and we use the current member family ID, and then we say update and data, and that's how we update the name. Well, yeah, that's how we update the family name. So if everything goes right, you get the success. You know, family blueprint has been updated. Well, we just say family. We don't need that. Family has been updated. And then say, oops, family didn't update. Try again. That's the exception. Returns 500. Okay. And we'll get into how to add other members. I will show you that too, how to add other members. But right now, this is how you delete. So same setup. So we find the family, we query by ID, we find the family. So once we find the family, we go ahead and start a session, we delete that member, that family, and then we commit the change, and we send out a response saying member has, well not member, we need to say family has been deleted in family. Alright, there we go. So family has been deleted, and if we get an exception or something goes wrong, we'll get this message, oops, family didn't delete, try again. So next we talk about how to add members. This is the best way I have right now that I figured out. So what we'll do is we want to add a member to like the family. If I want to add someone to the current family I'm in, what will we do is we will say we need the email, so we'll get the email. So once we have the email, the next step we'll do is query the member table by the email, and we'll find that member. So once we have that member, if the member does not exist, we'll return this response. But if the member does exist, what we'll do is we'll query the family by the current member ID, which is the current user's ID, family ID, and we'll find that family. So next what we'll say is the member that we queried, the first member that we queried from the email, we will say member.family ID, and we'll set that to family ID from the family we just queried. So that's how we add a member to a family, and we gotta commit the change, of course. And if everything goes right, we get this message. Let's just change that, and if it does not go right, we get this message. So this, like I said, rinse and repeat, same structure, just different variables. So this is our delete family member route. So as you can see, the route at the top, method, name, parameters. And so right here, all we're doing is saying we're trying to find a member. So the way we find a member is by the ID specified by the path. So we search the members tables by that ID, and once we search it by that ID, the next step we'll do is, once we have that member, we will set the family ID to none. So we're basically removing this member from the family. And so we commit the change, and we send out a response saying member has been deleted from, let's say, from family. from family. Make it a little better, a little clearer, because we haven't deleted the member. We just deleted it from we just deleted the member from the family. Oops, member couldn't get. Oops, members didn't delete from family. Try again. Yeah, so that looks pretty nice to me. And that's how we delete a member. So we got delete a member, add a member, delete a family, update a family, create a family, and get a family. So we have all our methods. We have get, post, put, and delete. Alright, so now we're ready to get into the test. So let's open up Postman. And the first step we'll do, well, first let's create another user. So we have 2 users because I remember we deleted a user. So let's just change up a few. Let's name him John Wayne. Okay, John Wayne, I like that. Instead of Big Wayne, let's just say Wayne 99. Instead of Bet, let's say Cowboy 34. And let's say you're 45 years old. Alright, so let's make sure our application is running. Alright, so we're gonna say Flask app, specify the app, so the app is app. Debug is true. Well, we say debug, so now it's true. And just hit run. Alright, server started up perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and add our, well, sign up our member. Alright, member was successfully created. Well, success member was created. Let's see. Yep, there goes John Wayne. So the next step, what we want to do is we want to create a family. So first, let's log in. We're going to log in as, oh, well, this user doesn't exist anymore. Well, let's just log in as John Wayne. So copy, log in, come here, say paste. Alright. So we're going to log in as John Wayne. Success, you're logged in, and as you can see, the token is updated. So the next step we want to do is we want to create a family. So as you can see, the route, family, create, and we gave the family a name of Snickers. And let's make sure we have our, see, yep, there we go. We need to add our header and token. So create a family, let's see. Oh, something went wrong. The method is not allowed for the request URL. Well, let's go investigate. So what we want to do is create, right? So it is create. Let's check the init file, and it is family. So it's oh, I don't think, yeah, I didn't save it. Okay, so let's try it again. No, still the same problem. So we have a bug. We just gotta figure out where it's at. And it's saying 405, and 405 means method not allowed. So, oh, okay. My URL prefix. I forgot to say URL prefix before I said /family. Let's just make sure I did it right in the to-dos while we were here. Yeah, see how I had the same problem again. Okay, glad that's fixed. Let's just save that. Save it. Okay, try it again. 30 times the charm, right? Alright, there we go. Third time is the charm. So let's say we create a family. So now let's say select all from family. And there you see it. We have a family. Name is Snickers. And let's go search up our members. Okay. Alright, so as you can see right here, John Wayne, this is the member that we're logged into right now. And as you can see, you have a family ID of 1. And the family we just created, ID is 1. So now we have an association between John Wayne and the Snickers family. So ID 1 ID. So alright. Next step, let's say get family. So we want to just get the family. So we pass in 1 for ID. And let's make sure our headers are right. Nope. So that's what I should have done. I should have went ahead and put this key value on the rest of the routes. I think I'm gonna do that before we start the to-do section. So just bear with me. Alright, so let's make sure that our header is correct. So get family. Okay, so get family does not take any parameters. Okay, so I guess that'd be get family by ID. But yeah, get family. So alright, there we go. We got our family, and as you can see, we have our member. You can see John Wayne is right here under members. So family name, ID, and members, John Wayne. We do not have any to-dos, but we do have a member. So the next step, what we're gonna do is update the family. So let's say we want to change our family name from Snickers to Twix. So update family. Oh, see, yep, got ahead of myself. I forgot to include the header variable. So let this be a lesson. Just preset it all, so you don't have to do what I'm doing and run into these little silly mistakes. Alright, success family has been updated, so let's check it out. So let's say for family, and you can see the name has been changed to Twix, so it works perfectly fine. So for the heck of it, let's create one more family. And this family, let's say this family is Skittles. So the Skittles family, create it. Let's make sure. Yep, there you go, Skittles family. Now, to show you delete, well, before I show you delete, I guess, yeah, I can show you how to add a member. So let's say to the family with John Wayne, family 1, say we want to add Bruce Wayne, so Big Wayne 1, Yahoo. Okay, so yeah, so we want to add him. So we say add. Oh, I forgot. This is gonna be the death of me. So there we go. Token. Alright, try it again. There you go. Success member was added to family. So let's check it out. Let's go to members. And yeah, as you can see, John Wayne and Bruce Wayne are both in the same family. Let's see what that family is. Whoa, wrong one. Family. Okay, they're part of the Skittles family. Okay. Well, wait, why is he part of the Skittles family? Oh, I remember. I know why now. Yeah, I got a bug. Gotta go fix it. Okay, so I believe the problem was it was right here. I had, well, as you know, we just had this statement right here, current member.family ID equals family ID. So basically, whenever you create a family, you automatically become a member of that family. And basically what was going on was, the reason why I went from 1 to 2 was because when I created the Skittles family, I was still John Wayne, and since I was John Wayne, it replaced my my first family with the new family I created, which is 2. And so since I added a member to a family, and the member I added joins the family that I'm part of. So since John Wayne was part of number 2, that's why Bruce Wayne was part of number 2. So what I did was I added this conditional statement, this conditional flow. So if current member.family ID doesn't equal none, so if the family ID does not equal none, what we're going to do is, well, we should move this up a little higher. So we don't even want the family to get saved to the database. If yeah, let's just come right here, do it right here. Yeah, so we want to put it right here. So basically, if the current member ID does not equal none, it just automatically kick you out. You can't create a family because you're already part of a family. But if it does equal none, then it will go ahead and create the family, add the family committed, and then add the family ID to the member, and then commit the change. So let's see if that fixes it. So what we're gonna do now is, let's create a third member. Let's just go ahead and create a third member. So, well, honestly, I could actually delete family. So we could delete a family, and then we're gonna rejoin the family. So let's see, who am I logged in as? We're logged in as John Wayne. Okay, so we're John Wayne. So as John Wayne, let's say remove member by ID. So we could do this. So we want to remove, let's see, I think, what is Bruce? Bruce is number 2. So we want to remove Bruce Wayne. So that's 2. Okay. Try it again. Alright, member has been deleted for family, so let's check out members. And Bruce Wayne is not part of a family anymore, so let's get a family. Let's go to Skittles. Let's get Skittles and see what we get. And we just get John Wayne, so Bruce Wayne is no longer part of the family. So now what we could do is, we can now, since we added a member, you've seen a member get added, you've seen a member get removed. So let's go ahead and add Bruce Wayne back so we can see that if our change actually worked properly. Success, member has been added to family. So let's see. Yep, and he's back to being added to the family. Alright, so who are we? Okay, let's create a new member. We're just gonna call him John, and let's just say Dwayne instead of Wayne, Dwayne, and change this to Wayne. Well, Dwayne. Well, yeah, not Dwayne. Dwayne, and not Cowboy, but let's say Boy. We leave it there for a matter. Change these to 40, doesn't really matter. But okay, sign up. Alright, member has been created. Let's log in. So this is our login. Alright, so we're logged in, and let's create a family. Let's name this family Starburst. Alright, family was successfully created. Now let's see. So we're going to select all from members, and as you can see, John Dwayne, he created a family, and it's family ID 3. And if we say select all from family, as you can see, we have a third family, Starburst. Alright, everything works properly. Now let's just delete a family. So let's delete yeah, just delete. Oh wait, sorry, I'm tired of forgetting. Oops, family didn't delete, try again. Okay, let's go see if we have an error somewhere. Okay, right here. We need to say family, because the name of our table is family. Well, model. Yeah, model table is family. So this needs to be family right here. That's what we need to query. So let's try it again. Delete. Alright, it says family has been deleted. Let's check. So, family. Oh, no Starburst. Starburst family is gone. And our member, John Dwayne, family ID is gone because it no longer exists. Okay, so it looks like that's all of our family methods. Well, not methods, our family HTTP calls. So in the next video, well, the next part, we're going to do the to-dos. So we're just going to go back to the project, and we're going to go over the to-dos just like we did the family. But I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to go ahead and fix all the Postman headers and make sure I have the authorization token inserted in all of them, so it'll be nice and clean and smoother. So thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go to our to-do route. So let's talk about it. Alright, so same setup in the init file as all other ones, and the admin, the member, family, the to-do is no different. Same layout. So import from Flask blueprint, create our blueprint, and import to-do blueprint from relative path. So let's get into the routes. So the first route we have is get all members to do. It's set at the all / all. That's how you access it. And what we're going to do is we're going to query the to-do item table, and we're going to get all the to-dos by member ID. So all. And once we have all of them, what we're going to do is return the to-dos, and the way we're going to return them is to-dos, and we're going to say to-dos.serialize for to-do and to-dos. So basically what it's saying is serialize, so to-do.serialize for every to-do and to-dos. It's kind of saying exactly what it's doing, but basically we have a to-do, and so for every to-do inside of the to-dos, what we're going to do is get the we're going to run serialize on every to-do inside of to-dos. I hope that makes sense. And if we do not find any to-dos, we will say sorry, no to-do found. Alright, to get to-do, we're going to get to-do by an ID. So maybe I should add that, get to-do by ID. Yeah, much cleaner. So we will get it by ID, so we're going to filter the to-do item table for a to-do by the ID. And if we find it, we're going to go ahead and return it. And if we don't find it, we're going to return this message, sorry, no to-do found. Next we have create member to-do, and it's just at the create path. So what we do is we receive a description and urgency, and we also need completed. Yeah, data dot get completed. So we need completed too. Completed. Completed. So if description and urgency are not provided, say invalid to do, please complete all fields. So what we're going to do, if it passes and it goes through, what we're going to do is we're going to try to create an to-do object. So we use the description, the urgency to complete, and since this to-do is going to a member, the current member, we set the member ID to the current member ID. So that's how it associates this to-do with the current member. So we add the to-do to the database, and we commit our change. And if everything goes right, we return and says message success to-do has been created. But if we run into error, we will respond with oops, to-do can't be created. Alright, so we have get all family to-dos is a little different from getting all the members to-dos. The difference is right here, the route, it's family and then all. So what we do is we query the to-do table, to-do item table by the family ID of the current member, and we receive all. So basically we're getting all the family's to-dos, and if the family has to-dos, we return the to-dos to the user. If it does not, we say sorry, no to-dos found. Creating a family to-do is pretty much the same as the members, just instead of a member ID, you just put a family ID, but besides that, the code is pretty much the same. So yeah, we have a description, urgency. If description urgency is not there, we will return this message, and if it is, we will try this, and we will create an item, and same as before, add it to the database and commit changes. Okay, if everything goes right, we'll get the message that says success today to-do has been created. If we get an error, we will say message oops, to-do can't be created. Okay, so we have update to do. So what we need is an ID. So we update to do by ID. So maybe I should put that. I like descriptive names by ID. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to take the data. So whatever the data is the data is going to be in the format that we need it in. So take the data and we pass it to the update. And after that, we just commit the changes. So yeah, just passes the update as a parameter. Commit the changes. We should get a message that says success to do has been updated. If something goes wrong, we will get the message oops, to do can't be updated. And last but not least, we have delete. So the way we delete is by ID. So maybe I should go ahead and say by ID. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the ID from the path, and we're going to query the to-do item table. We're going to find that to-do, and once we have that to-do, we will delete it. We will delete it and commit our changes. But if for some reason we can't find the to-do or delete it, we will say to-do does not exist. So this is our to-do route. And I forgot to show you earlier inside of our init file. Okay, so what I did, I added the family and the to-do blueprint, and I registered both of them the same way I did the admin and member blueprint. So every blueprint has to get registered in order to be able to use it in your application. So you'll have to register them. Just wanted to show you guys that I did do that step. Alright, so next step, let's go ahead and go to our good old Postman. And the first one we're going to do is, first, who are we logged into as? Alright, so let's relog in just so we can be fresh 30 minutes. Alright, so we're logged in as John Dwayne, I believe. Now what we want to do is create member to do. So as you see, I got my token in my header. So to create a member to do, we'll say clean up bathroom, this description, urgency is mid, completed is false. So let's see what we have. It's up 404 not found. So let's go check it out. Okay, so I found our bug. Our bug was that right here in our init file for our to-do blueprint, I imported the wrong import down here. I don't need blueprint, I need routes. So the reason why we got the 404 not found is because we never imported the routes into our init file, into our to-do init file. So let's try it now. Alright, so we still have our body. Say create. Success. To do has been created. So let's check it out, y'all. Let's go ahead. Let's say select from. We don't need that. We need to do item. Yep, there we go. ID, description, urgency, completed is F or false, and the member who created it has the ID of 4. Let's check it out. Member, yep, John Dwayne, yep. 4 for 4. So that works out. Now let's we need to, is John part of a family? No. Okay, let's log in as Bruce Wayne. So log in as Bruce Wayne. What was Bruce Wayne's login? Oh, it's right here. So copy, paste it right here. Let's fix that. Alright, now let's log in. Success, we're logged in. So now that we're logged in, let's say, where were we? Yep, create a family to do. So what we need to do, have a to do, this is a to do. Pass it. Oops, to do can't be created, bad request. I wonder why. Let's go check it out. The error was because I forgot to include, I just lost it. Yeah, right here. I forgot to include completed data. I get completed. Let's say completed and assign it completed. Okay, that should take care of that. Let's make sure that he won't need to do anything like that. Alright, so I think that should be it. We should be fine. Let's run it again. So, success, to do has been created. Let's go view it. Well, where is that? Where's the to do? Oh, here. Alright, so this is the second to do we created. And as you can see, it does not have a member ID, but it does have a family ID because it was created for the family to-dos. So it does have a family ID. So it belongs to a family, not a member, and this one belongs to a member, but does not belong to the family to-do. Just the members to-do. Alright, so our create family and create member to-do both work properly. Let's get to-do by ID. Let's say 2, just for the sake of it. 2. Sorry, no to do found. Well, they have a oh. Okay. I guess when I tried to create the first family to do, it actually did like try to create, so the number skipped. So let's try it like this. Yep, there we go. There goes our to do. Okay. Let's go ahead and just create another one. Rake another family to do. Let's say change light bulbs on front, let's say porch, on front porch. Mid, yeah, cool, everything looks good. Let's go ahead and add it. So it has been added. Let's just check. Alright, so yeah, so it was just that one weird case when we tried to make one and it didn't go through, but it counted like the ID or whatever. But yeah, so it actually works fine, and it actually does go incremental, so it's 3-4, so it works perfectly fine. Alright, so give an ID, try 4. Uh-oh. Isn't it ID 4? Yeah, it's definitely 4. There it goes. Okay. Just did it too fast, I guess. Alright, change lights on front porch. Let's get all family to-dos. And as you can see, here comes the family to-dos, because both of them are family to-dos. Get all member to-dos, and I believe we're logged in as Bruce Wayne right now, and I don't think Bruce Wayne have any to-dos, so we should see our error message. Or let's see. Oh well, we get to-dos, but it's just empty. Alright, let's fix that. Let's create member to-do. Let's give him clean up. Let's say kitchen. And let's change this to true. Well, no, you wouldn't be creating it if it was true. I mean, if it was clean already. So, let's say hi. Maybe you have people coming over. So, create. Alright, to do was successfully created. Now, let's go back to get all member to-dos and see what we get. Alright, and there goes the to-do right here. Clean up kitchen, hi, ID 5, because it's the fifth one that we created. Let's say update to do by ID. Let's update number 5. So let's say, oh wow, let's say the kitchen, clean up the kitchen. It's not really, you say you want to clean up the kitchen, but you need to add something. Say and change trash. Change trash. And let's turn it down to mid. Let's update. To do has been updated, so let's check it out. Let's get to do by ID. Let's say number 5. Yep, so it has been updated. As you can see, change trash has been added. So now I showed you how it looks when you update a to do. Now we could delete a to do. So let's say we no longer need to do number 1. Yeah, let's just get rid of number 1. So delete. Oh man. Oh man. The view function to do delete did not return a value response. Function either return none or ended with a return. Oh, without a return statement. Okay, so let's go see what we did wrong. So let's do, okay, so right here after the commit, let's say return, let's say, oh sorry, make response. And what we want to say is message success member, no, to do was deleted. And let's return the status code of 200 for OK. Save it. Alright, try it again. And I got the same error, so something's not right. The view function did not return a valid response. The response must be a string dictionary to love. Okay, let's go check it out. Okay, alright, I think this is right here. I think this is our typo that's causing all the problems. I think we probably got away without this, but let's just leave anyways. It makes it more clear and it's better, more useful, more data, more information. Always better, right? So let's say delete. Alright, to do does not exist. Huh. Let's see. Okay, so I guess it did get deleted, but with errors. Okay, let's just try another one. Let's say 3. Success to do was deleted. So I guess it did work, but since we had like all the bugs in our code and it was throwing us error messages, it did happen, but it just didn't get the message that we needed. So let's check it out. To-dos. Yep. 3 is gone, and yeah, works perfectly fine. So, well, let's see something first. Real quick. Oh, so number 3 was for family 2. So let's go get family IDs. I think we're still logged into that correct family. Yeah, we are. So get family IDs, get all. And as you can see, all we have is 4. 3 is gone because it was deleted. So this right here is our to-do route. I'm glad, you guys stuck it through with me to the end. I hope you really did get some value from this, because I did put in a decent amount of work, and I tried my best to make it as clear and concise as possible. I feel like it's something that I wanted to do though, that I just forgot. Okay, I remember what I wanted to do. I wanted to test out the if statement that we put in for when someone's trying to make a family and they're already part of a family. Let's go to it real fast so we can know what we're talking about, so you can see what I'm talking about. Right. Create family. What is that? Create family. Right here. So I want to see. Is this it? Yeah, I want to see right here if this block works. So let's go to Postman. Let's see who's part of a family. What member is part of a family? Okay, so Bruce Wayne. We're logged into Bruce Wayne. So let's try to make a new member. A new family. So okay, we're logged into Bruce Wayne. Let's just log in, refresh the token. Alright, token refresh. So let's now try to create a family. And we shouldn't be able to create a family because we're part of a family already. So let's go to body, strawberries for the name. Message, you're already part of a family. Alright, that's good. Now we shouldn't see the family. This means it worked. Yep, new family, and make sure the members, yep, still correct. So yeah, it works out. It looks like that little change, that little statement we added actually fixed it. So alright, this is it. I hope y'all learned a lot. And okay, thank you guys for sticking with me this whole time. This is our Flask CRUD API. It was actually pretty fun building this with you guys, and I hope someone or anyone learned something very useful from this. I will leave a link to the project below, and I will also link a couple references, a couple resources that I read that actually made this video possible. So I would just like to say thank you guys, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day, wonderful night, and just thank you for coding with Eli.